Hey everybody, Flint Hills Kid coming here with the CRF250F 1 year review. I've had this bike for just a few days over 1 year. I could not be more happy with it. This bike, for the most part, looks like it's pretty much brand new. Besides a few wear and tear scuffs on the plastics and the seat cover. But after 1 year, you know, what do you expect? I ordered the Guts Racing seat cover. Surprisingly enough, companies make seat covers for these, so that'll really make it look like a more meaty bike. I've also put breakaway levers on here with how heavy this bike is. If you tip over in any way whatsoever, you're pretty much going to bend a lever. I got those off Amazon for like 30 bucks for both brake and clutch lever. The only thing I don't like about them is sometimes this bolt screws out here, and then this actual bolt screws in, and you have to adjust it to bring it out, otherwise you really can't pull your clutch in. I've also put a rear tire on here. I got this off Amazon for like 60 bucks. For an Amazon tire, it's holding up really well. I've heard a lot of people like it in the review department of it and everything. It's a rock crawling tire. I've had it on here for like 4 or 5 months. There's no giant treads out of here, chunks of tread like I thought would happen. That is the literally only thing I've done aftermarket to it. I had a flag style handguards on here, and after a few tip overs and everything, they started to get those wide creases in them from being bent and everything. I couldn't be more happy with this bike. I hadn't ridden for 2 years before I got this bike. I stopped riding. Saw Ken Roxon's nasty crash, almost career ending. Kind of scared me, so I quit riding, and I was wanting to get back into it. So I was looking at the CRF150R RB to get, and I thought that might have been a little bit too much bike for me coming back in, so I looked at the 125F, saw that was too small for me, and then I decided to go with this. For anybody that's took a few years off of riding like me, or even a decade or so, getting back into it, this would be one of the best bikes. It's not a motocrosser. Don't expect to do no 30-foot jumps with it, because it's not going to handle it very well. I have my motocross track out in one of my pastures, and it handles it fairly well if you got a good landing and land right. This is Honda's, I think, 3rd year of making it. They started in 2019 with the 250F, replacing the 150F that has been around since 2006, I want to say. This bike's fuel injected, starts right up. Don't got to worry about flooding it. Never had any issues with the battery on here, other than the positive side unscrewing, but you know, you just take a screwdriver to that, screw it back in, you're good to go. I've never had anything major break on it, although I am pretty disappointed in the tubes. I don't know what's going on with them, but I've probably put in 10 tubes together, front and rear, within this past year. Just pinch flats, and I'm running 15 psi in the tires. I don't really know what else to do besides that. If anybody knows what's going on there, let me know. But for 1 year, this bike has held up good. I've cleaned the air filter every about 5 rides. If this is your only issue here after a year, I mean, it's pretty outstanding. You know, that's only a $70 fix. That's what I paid for our seat cover, and Honda does an amazing job with keeping their trail bikes, and any bike really, keeping them robust and reliable to keep you out there on the trails. On my chain, I bought this brand new in May 23rd, 2020 from Freedom Cycles in Grandview, Missouri. They gave me a chain wax, and I only went through about a quarter of that before I stopped using it and just went back to WD-40. I'll tell you why. Because that chain wax throws all that stuff around on your plastics and gets it all greasy and everything. WD-40 works fine. Doesn't throw that plastic around there. Doesn't rust your chain out anything. I think Dirt Bike Channel, the YouTube channel, made a whole video on that. I've had no complaints with it whatsoever on the chain. The only thing I do have a complaint about down here is the motor. On the motor, the casings, they stain really easy just from grass and mud, and they're pretty much impossible to get all that stains off there. Also your pipe. After about 15 minutes, 20 minutes of riding, you get any mud on there or dirt, it's staying there. It's not coming off. The heat just cakes it on there. No matter how much pressure washing you do, you're not getting it off. Everybody was talking about putting an aftermarket pipe on it. It's too quiet. Da-da-da-da-da. I could not find a pipe for under $500, and Yoshimir makes that $500 one, that doesn't stick out to here, it seems like. Pro Circuit makes one, and it sticks out like a sore thumb. Doesn't look very good. Yoshimir makes a full wraparound one that sticks out where the stock exhaust sticks out. But they're wanting like $550 for it. I'm not dropping that much money on a bike that I'm getting ready to sell anyways. After about a year, I've had this bike completely maxed out. Speed-wise, I'm pretty much 5th gear tapped everywhere. Suspension, I've had no complaints with it other than I just bottom out pretty much everywhere. I haven't blown a fork seal in it yet. No leaks. The rear brake pads I pretty much shot though. I'm getting new pads put on there. I don't even know if you can tell. You can't even see a pad in there. So I get that seat cover on there and some brake pads that'll be up for sale. Upgrading up to a 125. Could not have enough fun on this bike. It's a lot of fun. But just to show how heavy it is, it has actually bent my stand. I don't know if you can tell or not, but well, thank you guys for watching. This was my 1-year review. This is the 3rd review I've done on this bike. I did a first initial thoughts, the 2nd day of having it. I did a 20-hour review. Now I've done a 1-year review. I've probably got close to 500 hours on this bike. I only wish I was exaggerating. I mean, this bike was ridden, every time it was ridden for 3-4 hours. And like I said, it was ridden pretty much every other day. Starts right up, never has any trouble starting. Besides right there, I don't know what that was about. Never done that before. Back fender, a little scuff from my boots and everything. Front fender does have a pretty nice scuff on it. Before I had my stand, well, you can't even tell on camera. Before I had my stand, we would put 5-gallon buckets under there, and it would crush the 5-gallon buckets. Shifter is a little bent from hitting the rock on some single track. That is it. I've had the same grips for a year now too. I didn't really like them at first. They were pretty rough. Kind of hurt my hands, but I've gotten used to them. Got some good gloves. Fly Racing providing. You also got your gas light on there. Lets you know when you're running low on gas. Over tightening gas can. I've just been running 87 in this for a year. There's no reason to run anything more on this. But I think I'll be signing off here, guys. This has been a great 1 year with it. Putting it up for sale. If you're in the Kansas area, Alright. See ya.